Coming to you from WWTR Studios in Central Florida, here is your host, Thomas Fry. Welcome. Science fiction. Fiction based on imagined future scientific or technological advances and major social or environmental changes, frequently portraying space or time travel and life on other planets. Science fiction is the literature of the human species encountering change, whether it arrives via scientific discoveries, technological innovations, natural events, or societal shifts. Welcome to Sci Fi Talk. I am your host, Thomas Fry, and have I got a show for you tonight. I am not going to be the one talking most of the evening. I have some stuff I need to show you. I got a special guest, the Psychic Saturday Night of Chris Garcia. We're going to find out who the man is and the man behind the psychic. You know me, I like to get personal on the interviews. I want to show you a side of a person that you don't normally see when you're watching their show. But I wanted to reread the idea behind Sci-Fi Talk at the beginning again, because I feel like this is a brand new show starting all over again, and we are getting back to our roots and not just spouting off what's new on the Sci-Fi TV. Y'all got a TV guide for that, so we're going to start going in different directions. And you know, science fiction is a multi and interdisciplinary, and it's concerned not just with the literary quantities, but exploring the core values of diverse fields. And the stuff that I'm watching that's happening in the world today over this COVID-19, this coronavirus, I don't like what I see. I said from the beginning, and all my shows are recorded, so you can go back and check. I said this is no worse than the flu. And I'm going to bring that proof to you tonight, and we're going to get to it before we get to our guest tonight. We have just enough time to get that accomplished. Everything about that I would normally go over, what's going on with me, everything is on hold. I just love medical issues. I haven't got my leg yet. Should have already, but it's fighting the healing. So if you're bored, throw a little prayer my way that my leg will heal up so I can get started with the next step and get back up on two legs. I'm kind of getting tired of being in this wheelchair. Although I did get a new chair, and it's super cool. It's got all these attachments you can take off and reconfigure, and it's light, so it's easy to throw up in the truck when I go. But back to what this show is all about. It is about kind of leaning on the philosophical side of life. The stuff we invent, the stuff that is invented, and even in something as simple as natural, making a new part for a tractor, it doesn't matter. Everything that you see in life, the food you eat, the car you drive, the house you live in, and the pet that you pet, all started with science. All the dogs in the world all started from the wolf. And everything was bred into finding different traits. But I want to be a little bit more on the serious side of the beginning of this, because I do not like what this coronavirus is doing to the American family. In the beginning, it brought it together, but now it seems to be tearing it apart a little bit. So this doctor, Dr. Erickson, he's going to give you a little speech on everything about the coronavirus, and rather than me, I was writing everything down and going to repeat all these stats. I thought, you know what? Coming from him would make a lot more sense. Wrong display. Let's try to get the right one. There we go.
Cases, small amount of death. Millions of cases, small amount of death.
All right, I got some more good news for you guys. The Fauci-Gates pandemic model is absolutely collapsing. I'm getting contacted by doctors all over the country. Of course, you've probably seen the 2 viral interviews I've just done, some of the other investigative work I've done, but now it's all falling apart, folks. 2 doctors from California have just completed a press conference, okay? I'm going to show you some clips.
People tested. That's 12% of Californians were positive for COVID. So we don't, the initial, as you guys know, the initial models were woefully inaccurate. They predicted millions of cases of death, not of prevalence or incidence, but death. That is not materializing. What is materializing in the state of California is 12% positives. Well, if we have 39.5 million people. If we just take a basic calculation and extrapolate that out, that equates to about 4.7 million cases throughout the state of California, which means this thing is widespread. That's the good news. We've seen 1,227 deaths in the state of California with a possible incidence or prevalence of 4.7 million. That means you have a 0.03 chance of dying from COVID-19 in the state of California. 0.03 chance of dying from COVID in the state of California. Does that necessitate sheltering in place? Does that necessitate shutting down medical systems? Does that necessitate people being out of work?
So think about that question. Has the response been warranted when you look at the actual numbers? How did we react?
328 million people times 19.6 is 64 million. That's a significant amount of people with COVID. It's similar to the flu. If you study the numbers in 2017 and 2018, we had 50 to 60 million with the flu. And we had a similar death rate. The deaths in the United States were 43,545. Similar to the flu of 2017, 2018. We always have between 37 and 60,000 deaths in the United States every single year. No pandemic talk, no shelter in place, no shutting down of businesses, no sending doctors home.
No shutting down businesses, no sending doctors home. Now, he detailed the massive disruption that's taking place inside the health systems in California and how
severe disruption for accelerated, as we have people coming in 7 in the morning till midnight. We're reporting to the health department, we're calling patients back, and at the same time, our volumes have dropped significantly. The hospitals, their ICUs are empty, essentially, and they're shutting down floors, they're furloughing patients, they're furloughing doctors. So the health system has been evacuated in certain places. In New York, the health system is working at maximum capacity. In California, we're really at a minimal capacity, getting rid of our doctors and nurses because we just don't have the volume. The hospitals don't, as I've met with our CEOs twice in the last week, and we don't as well. So,
okay, so This is eye-opening. This is stuff that we've known about. This is stuff we've been talking about. All of this verifies the Stanford study, the University of Southern California study that talks about just how widespread this thing really is. And then he goes into a point about the data itself. He's just reinforcing these facts that need to be shared across America. That this thing is not as deadly as they made it out to be, as Fauci and Birx and Bill Gates, fear-mongering across America, amplified by the media? No. Listen to this doctor now talk about the actual death rates.
We're sharing our own data. This isn't data filtered through someone. This is our own data. We found 6.5%, and then California has found 12%. So the more you test, the more positives you get. The prevalence number goes up, and the death rate stays the same. So it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And as we move through this data, what I want you to see is millions of cases, small amount of death. Millions of cases, small amount of death.
Millions of cases, small amount of death. He wanted to drive that point home because he knows that the numbers are proving Fauci, Gates, and Birx absolutely wrong. He's painting the picture that the response to this thing was completely misguided. Now wait till you hear what he says about the New York numbers and the actual percentages when you extrapolate it out across the entire population of New York and the actual death rate, the percentages. Listen to this.
Let's go over their numbers. Cases of COVID as of yesterday, 256,272 cases in New York State, not New York City, New York, the entire state. They did a total of 649,325 tests. That's 39% of New Yorkers tested positive for COVID-19. That's their ratios. This is public data online. You can all look it up.
39% of people who were tested.
39% of the people were tested.
39% of New York State.
Right.
39% of New York State is there's 20 million people there would be close to, 4 million.
Which is likely, they likely have 7.5 million cases.
So I just want to make that clarification. It's not 39% of every New Yorker, it's every New Yorker who's been tested.
Right, so we extrapolate data.
I just want to make that.
We extrapolate data, we test people, and then we extrapolate for the entire community based on the numbers. The initial models were so inaccurate, they're not even...
But in those initial models, a lot of them were based off if we did no social distancing.
Right.
Is that correct? So is it really fair to say, obviously they're not as bad as they were because those were based on alternative scenarios?
And some of them were based on social distancing and still predicted hundreds of thousands of deaths, which has been inaccurate. So in New York, the ones they tested, they found 39% positive. So if that's indicative, and they tested 649,000 people, that's a massive test. That's accurate data, 39%. So if they tested the whole state, would we indeed have 7.5 million cases? We don't know. We will never test the entire state. So we extrapolate out. We use the data we have because it's the most accurate we have versus a predictive model that have been nowhere in the ballpark of accurate. So how many deaths do they have? 19,410 out of 19 million people, which is a 0.1% chance of dying from COVID in the state of New York. And they have a 92% recovery rate. If you are indeed diagnosed with COVID-19, 92% of you will recover. So we're seeing millions of cases, small amount of death. Millions of cases, small amount of death.
And now the doctor compares Sweden versus Norway's numbers because one nation completely shut down, locked down, and the other didn't. Left their economy wide open. And the numbers speak for themselves. Listen.
When you bring up a system of lockdown, you automatically have to compare it to a system of no lockdown. Sweden and Norway. I'm Norwegian. Norway has lockdown. Sweden does not have lockdown. What happened in those two countries? Are they vastly different? Did Sweden have a massive outbreak of cases? Did Norway have nothing? Let's look at the numbers. Sweden has 15,322 cases of COVID. They did 74,600 tests, which is 21%, similar to the other countries. 21% of all those tested came out positive for COVID. What's the population of Sweden? About 10.4 million. So if we extrapolate out the data, about 2 million cases of COVID in Sweden. They did a little bit of social distancing. They would wear masks and separate. They went to schools, stores were open. They were almost about their normal daily life with a little bit of social distancing. They had how many deaths? 1,765. California's had 1,220 with isolation. No isolation, 1,765. We have more people. What I'm getting at is millions of cases, very small death. Millions of cases, very small death. This is what we're seeing everywhere. Norway, its next door neighbor. This is where I come from. These are two Scandinavian nations. We can compare them as they are similar. Let's look at the data. Norway, 7,191 cases of COVID. Total COVID tests, 145,279. So they came up with 4.9% of all COVID tests were positive in Norway. Population in Norway, 5.4 million. So if we extrapolate the data as we've been doing, which is the best we can do at this point, they have about 1.3 million cases. Now their deaths as a total number were 182, fairly small, but statistically insignificant from 1,700, you realize. Millions of cases, small amount of deaths. 1,700, 100,
Oh, well,
these are
you know what,
statistically
Chris?
insignificant. So you have a...
Yeah.
All right. It looks like I have a little issue with my audio from Skype. It's taking over that. So give me 1 second. Let me finish just explaining what this doctor is talking about.
Okay.
And after the video gets posted, for everyone that's listening, you can go back and you'll be able to look in the description of the video in the bottom, and you can go to this video and watch it directly. I couldn't find the original video in time for the show, so I had another patron's video to I had to leave his insert in there where he was just kind of explaining what the doctor was talking about, and what he was saying is when you put two countries side by side and you have one that does social distancing, they stay at home, they follow the guidelines, and then the country of a similar size right next to it does the exact opposite, doesn't shut the country down, doesn't kill their economy, doesn't put people out of work, and they have the exact number of cases of people that are getting sick. So it doesn't matter what you do with this COVID-19, it's going to be the results are going to be the same. And it's similar to the flu. The bad part is they don't have a cure for it right now, but they're working on it diligently. You have, not only is the militaries of the world working on it, you have Russian, Chinese, American, you have critical doctors from WHO and from America, and you've got the CDC, and you've got so many people working at working on a cure for this. Now, they have last week they only had 2 different treatments for this that they were putting into human testing. This week they got 4. So there's 4 different cures that different doctors are working on to cure this. So although it may be a year or 2 before we actually get a what do you call that? A vaccine for it. But we will have, if you do get it, it won't be a big deal. They'll have a way to fix it, and it'll just be, we don't have a cure for the flu. You get the flu, you go through it, you have a rough couple of weeks, and you're fine. And about the same number of people die from that die from the flu. So check out this video. I think, which one is it? I gotta figure out which.
I'm looking at it right now because I'm looking at you talking to me.
Well, no, I know that. I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was trying to turn it off so I could turn you on, and get you up here posted. That would be Skype guest. There you are. All right, so
Okay.
we
I can see. I'm helping you with the chat because I'm looking at everybody in the chat. So I was just.
okay.
But just tell me when you're ready for me to speak, and then let me know.
We are about to. I just wanted to get that. Let me get this. There we go. Okay, now I got you to the right size. All right, let me introduce. This is Chris Garcia. He has a show here on GERN where he has people call in, and you can go into the chat room and ask questions. He's got his chat room going, so we'll be able to get the questions as we go throughout the interview. So if you got a question or if you got something that you want to ask him, I will shut up and let him talk and help whatever question the person has. I'm kind of curious to see this. I've been so busy lately with my health and everything else. I barely have enough time to get prep for my shows. I've got to watch a little bit of your show, but I promise I will get over there for a whole show. But like I was telling you earlier, I know what you do, but I want to show my audience who you are behind. So I got a few questions that I looked up, and I think they are perfect for you. So
Okay.
would you please describe how you first realized that you had psychic abilities?
Well, I was about 5. Psychic medium, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. Also have the ability to remote view and see auras. It runs in the family, like I told you. I guess, Thomas, when I realized it was at a very young age, and I knew things. I guess when I started doing it was kind of like in middle school, I guess you can say, so to speak.
Oh, that would be
I always
cool.
knew that there was something different, but I think it was more to when I acknowledged it, when it was when it wasn't more in middle school. But I knew at the very young age I was different. I could feel it, I could sense it. It was just knowing that there was something different about this, this world that I was in. And I actually, at one time, I actually said, you know what? Wow, it's weird. I actually thought everybody could do it,
Right.
And I realized as time went on, not everybody could do it. I mean, everybody says that they have ESP, but, with all the skeptics and stuff, I mean, everybody can tap into it, but it's the ones that are mostly open more to it, or the ones that are more prone to everyday psychic, life. With me, there's nothing ever boring for me. But as me being as a person, besides all of the psychic stuff, what I like to do is help people. That's the big message I like for everyone to know that's watching Thomas's show. When I'm not doing readings, on the shows or whatever, wherever not, I also do missing persons cases. I also do paranormal work.
Missing
Lately,
cases
we've
are
been
so
doing
hard.
counseling. So I've been just doing counseling with different people and just been helping them. And, in the point of direction of stuff like that. And by the way, earlier, Thomas, remember how you were calling me? For everyone outside of what you already know, I was actually cutting the grass. I was outside. So, yeah, it was different. It was, that's outside of my spiritual gift. I do, like everybody else, I have chores to do. I do have a life. And it's a beautiful thing knowing that I come from a very gifted family. So I don't know if I left anything out, Thomas, but if you want to ask me any questions, you're more than free to right now.
No, that was kind of what I was expecting. I was hoping that it would be like that. I've dealt with people in the past that have claimed to be psychic that were not. They were just really good readers of a person's body language, and it kind of pissed me off because I've always believed in that, because I've always, I've been different my whole life too. I can see into a situation, and look at what it really is, not what they're saying it is. I've always had that knack, and that's why I started, blue collar politics like you. You get to a point where you just, one person at a time is not enough to get out there. You want to help as many people as you can. One of my specialties is my survival stuff. I am extremely well adapted to being able to just survive. I mean, I've lost my leg less than a month ago, and it took me all of a day to decide that, I got a wheelchair I can fly around in all the time now, so I don't have to worry about finding a seat to sit down when I'm walking around with me. And I usually have to slow down to wait for whoever I'm going, and you got to remember they're still walking. I'm not. I'm hoping to get back to it. But yeah, I was, the only thing that I've been able to do, and this is where the question I've been wanting to ask you let me tell you this quick little story first. My daughter and me, I had custody of her. I won it in court away from her mother, where I was the first male in the state of Ohio to win custody of his child away from the mother when she did not lose her other children to the state. So she was able to keep her other children, but I still got custody. I'm the first man to do that. Now I found out from friends of mine that have got divorced, and, they never thought any of that was possible. Now I know of 12 people from my hometown that also, they were like, no, I'm going to fight for the kids. I didn't even think it was possible to get them. So now the courts are changing, and I like being that first case. But what happened from that, I didn't have, a ton of extra money, so my daughter would go to work with me when she wasn't at school. So she loved doing it. I kept saying, would you rather be home playing? She goes, I'm having a blast, and she'd go help me. And so we traveled all over northeastern United States putting in satellite dishes. And
Wow.
we got very, very close to the point, whenever she wasn't with me, I would call her, and I'd be like, I felt this pain in my hand. She goes, I cut my finger. How'd you know? And we were getting to the point where we could tell when one or the other went through some sort of trauma whatsoever, and the level that you would feel, like the anxiety that it would raise in me when I know it was something going on with her. Her mom tried to come to her school and take her, and she ran back into school, and the police called, and my mother called into it. I'm over in Indiana, right? I get a phone call, my daughter needs me. And I turn around to my customer, I'm like, my daughter needs me, I gotta go now. And can I just leave the stuff here? I'll be back. Family needs me. So he opened up his garage, we took the ladder off the truck, took all the heavy stuff off the truck, locked it up in a customer's garage whom I just met an hour before that, and we took off in my little pickup truck, flying down Highway 80 through 3 states. And I've always been good at driving a little bit fast and never running into a cop. The only time I would ever run into a cop, like you're driving down the highway and you get behind 2 vehicles and I can't get around them for some reason, so I slow way down, and then all of a sudden I see a cop go by in the middle. Now, is that something that I'm doing, or I've been doing that for 40 years? That can't be a coincidence. I've never gotten a ticket, and every time I've ever seen a cop, I was already doing 55 miles an hour. And like when I went to see Daryl, that's 800 miles. I only slowed down twice, down to 55, and both times I saw a cop. But the rest of the trip, I didn't see a single one. I was doing 80 mile an hour on the cruise control, just flying. And I was out there by myself. There wasn't a lot of people out there. But It is so that's me being able to feel my daughter, and so is that like a typical thing that?
To be honest with you, with what I feel with that situation when you're telling me that story, like you said, you grew up different. I want to say that you were connected. Of course, she was your daughter, but it was like that bond that you have. You know where your kids are, and you know when something is wrong.
With any of them.
And yeah, with anyone. And when you have that bond, it's sometimes it even scares you. And I bet you this happens to you, Thomas, and I don't know if it does, but if it does, you can give me some validation on this.
Yes.
When you're doing this, was there ever a time when you were apart, you could read each other's mind telepathically?
Oh, absolutely. We did it. We did it to the point where we knew we were doing it, and we would laugh about it. She'd call me up out of the blue and ask me, what are you doing right now, Dad? It's like something tells me you need to pick the blue one, and I'm like, I'm in a freaking store buying shirts. Now,
oh my God!
I'm like 1,000 miles away, so I know it's not, and this stuff would happen, especially when she was with her mom, because the entire weekend for her was a disaster. From the minute because she did not like being there, and even when she was there after she was 18, I could still feel it, and it drives me nuts because we don't have the best of communication right now, but I still, every event, and when I read her Facebook page or check in with a friend, I find out what had happened. I had felt it while it was happening.
Wow. That's, even though you might not, have the best connection, might not see eye to eye, but no matter how much the connection or you don't have the connection, I can tell you that regardless whatever situation you're going through, and that's your personal life, I see it as, like, as a friend and as a psychic, I see that you will reconnect more. You will have your differences, but the love from a dad to a daughter is unconditional.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unconditional, just like a mom to a son or a mom to a daughter. That love can never be broken, no matter how much people wish they can break that bond. So I'm just telling you right now that even though you might not see it like I told you, but the bond is always going to be there. And God is always with you both.
See, now
so when something like, yeah.
On this one, I've always thought it's been a little bit more than just a bond between me and her. Both of us are the only ones in the family that look at the world that we've had many discussions over, because I've studied the Bible, but I didn't stop at just the Bible. When I'm studying I studied all 40 books that were not in the Bible, and I think they were more interesting than the Bible itself. But there's so much of this world, as a human race, we have amnesia horribly. We have forgotten what the past was like, because before the big flood, we were living to 1,000 years, and now we barely live 120, and everyone seems to have forgotten
humanity.
Right. They forgot where we came from.
Oh my God, that just Spirit King told me that, yeah. Humanity, wow.
I got into it when I got into it when I was young, before I knew what I was reading, but I just absorbed American history and world history, and and I got all this, and then when I was 12, 13 years old, and
that's when it hit you.
Right. It was starting to hit me that all this history that's in the school books that they're teaching you is wrong. And
brainwashing.
Yeah, that's all it is. Because you look in I looked in a friend of mine's kid's 8th grade book, and we were never taught about the Muslim religion when we were young. Now, a chapter, a whole section of like a 9-week part of their schooling is nothing but Muslim religion. And people seem to forget that this country was founded as a Christian country. It was people fleeing the tyranny and the Roman Catholic religion from over in England and Britain and those places in Spain, that they come to here to have a freedom of worship. And now we have all the religions in every aspect are in this country now, all of them. And I think you want to believe what you want to believe, you go right ahead and do that. I kind of have gone my history in what I've seen to be true, and there's a couple of things that I've picked up on that and some of my listeners, I don't want to make them mad, but they don't believe the same things I do. They stick with their their how do you say that? I don't want to say scripted religion because it's not, but they're established religion.
Oh, I can finish now. I think I know what you were going to say. Were you going to say beliefs?
Yes.
You see, I'm in your head, Thomas. I'm in your head, dude. You know what? You're not the first. There's someone else that's probably watching that. She knows who she is.
Oh, yeah.
A friend of mine that, because I have a lot of friends, and everybody's got a different connection to me, some shape or form. And there's this one particular that she's probably laughing. She's like, oh, my God. I'm not going to say her name, but we have that telepathic connection, and we found out a past. We found out something that there's a past there. And it's very touching because I don't even have to say the word. And there's actually a few people that actually do this. It's weird because they finish my sentences. And I'm just like looking at them like, really? Because we'll do that on Messenger. And I'm just like, okay. I see where this is going. You're finishing my words for me. So, yeah, but that's the connection with, with your daughter. You both in each other's sentences. It's what it is. But it's like I said, I know what you meant. That is more of a bond. It's just the best way to describe that, I guess, is just unconditional love. And you have divine spirit with between you both. And no matter how sad or lonely it gets,
oh, yeah, I'm kind of...
She will always love you. She will always love you. That's never going to change. Never.
I've been really bummed out that it's actually been a couple of years since I've spoken with her. But we had... I got to tell you this one thing. It's normal. Now, when I was married, because we got married late, we were together for 10 years overall. And we didn't get married till the end, and then she turned them in the marriage papers into ownership papers, and I was gone. But when you said finish sentences, and yeah, we could do that all the time. But when it got after a couple of years, when I had custody of her, she could start my sentences. Now that to me is talent. But the exact words I'm gonna say, she can not just finish. Start the thought, even if it's a different thought than what we're talking about. I'll get ready to say something, and then she will pop off the sentence. She's quick about that. I'm like, stop doing that. That's crazy when you do that.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I mean, a 7-10 word sentence, the whole thing, exactly as I was about to say it. So I've always thought it was more than just the unconditional love. I think it has something to do with everything that I've studied in the past and the fact that I am very open-minded, and so is she. I brought her up that way to be open-minded. And as you read, as you know your history and you know what you learn, you have to be open-minded enough to be able to, when something else is presented that shows you it's a different way, you have to accept it, whether you may not always like it. but it's the truth. And I'd rather be disappointed and know the truth than be happy and belligerent of true history.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. And you know what's funny when you were talking about religion? You know, it's so weird. From when I went to school, I see things differently now. And I don't remember ever even, I do remember quite things of, and it's weird because I remember kindergarten, I remember first grade.
I can't remember back that
Second
far.
and third, I don't remember. Fourth, if it is a ton, I remember it's kind of like a blur. Fifth, sixth, and seventh, it's just, I remember everything else. And there's reasons for that. And it's just weird when you talk about religion. That's something that now I've heard from friends of mine when they want their kids to wear crosses, it's forbidden at school. And you would look at it like, why don't they allow that? That's something that's a total good subject to talk about. Why do they not allow any kind of like crosses or anything? Because it's just weird how.
I have that answer. For the last 20 years, they have slowly been removing Christianity out of the school system and the government. You get these people that, and it's usually one or two people that if they scream loud enough, they get their change. But by just saying they're offended and suing over, I mean, it's ridiculous what they have taken the Christianity completely out of the schools. This country was founded on Christian values. And to remove that out of our society is wrong. Our government, exactly, it's the religion that balances the government. So they have to be together but yet separate. Like the three branches of government that they're supposed to be, and they're not anymore. I saw a law passed here in Florida, 62%. It took the Democrats 30 days to take that law and call it unconstitutional by one judge in one county at one court hearing, and they eliminated that law.
That's sad. When you look back at how we grew up, everything, the values, it changed. And the more I look at it, it's kind of like everything's corrupted.
Yes.
And you know what's funny too, because I'm going to tell a few people out there, like for my friend Stacy and Amanda, Faith, Christopher, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure you're going to relate to this one. Everyone that knows me, and it's weird because most of the people are gifted, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, Thomas, and I'm going to tell you what it is. As a communion or as people, some of us, we feel like we have this load on our shoulder, like we're supposed to carry the load in our hand. Like the more I look at it, it's kind of like everything's corrupted. And you know what's funny too? We feel like we have this big responsibility, and we take so much of empathic pain that we carry because we feel like we have an obligation. That's a big word. Obligation to do to what we can fix, and we can't help everyone. But just even sometimes, there's people that don't believe in psychics, mediums, whatever you say.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe just even going up to them and saying, you know what, God loves you.
Right as you said that, I was looking up to my questions because I was looking, this is the question I'm looking at. So this will get you. When do you avoid telling people that you're psychic? Right as you were saying that, I looked up and picked that question, and I didn't, I kind of picked it and then focused in on it, listening to you, what you're saying, and I'm like, oh crap. I picked the exact topic that so you answered the question before I ever had a chance to ask it. Good job.
So that already tells you kind of get an idea of in your head. So yeah, that's scary. And this is the first time we ever worked together, Thomas. But that only tells me one thing, is that we're teamwork. and that's another subject.
That credit goes.
People just don't even know the meaning of teamwork.
Yeah.
Don't even know the meaning of that.
And Daryl is the one that is putting this team together, and every one of us, as we come on board, talk with each other, work with each other, however we can help each other out. If there's anything I can do for you, I'm there. The only thing you have to do is ask. So I know you need help with something, and I'm right there for you. I can't do physical stuff, but I got a nice studio here, so I can make really cool commercials and stuff. I really like that aspect of the people that he has got to do, because he talks to a lot of people that could be hosts, but he picks very few from the huge pool of people that he could get, and every one of us has been a team player, and the one that hasn't been a team player, well, he's gone now, so we don't have to worry about him no more, but the rest of us work to, you and I just really met today when I called you to set up for the show, and I feel like I've known you like an old friend.
You know what? I want to tell you like that. You're not the first, and you're not the last to say that. I connect so much with humanity. I connect with so much people, and I try to help as much as I can. But there's only so many of us. Like for me, I can't do everything. I know I can't. I try to do it. But I've been told by many people, and they know who they are, that you can't do this alone. If you ever need me, I'll shoulder. If you ever need my assistance, I'm here for you. And there's one in particular that says, you know what? I'm here to help you. Nothing else. I'm not here for the show. I'm not here to get publicity. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here for you.
That
Just you.
is rare, cool friendship to have.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I got so emotional when I heard that. It melted my heart, because I was like, that's like 1 out of 1,000,000.
Yes. That is a definition of a soulmate. You don't have to be, a soulmate does not have to me, a soulmate does not have to be your significant other or, guy or girl, doesn't matter. If you connect with someone on that type of a level, they can be a friend and be a soulmate. I mean, I've had friends that my really good friend now, lately we haven't been talking because, he's got new babies and, he's got twins on top of it with the new house, and he's got every car breaking down at a time right now, and he's kind of struggling. So I kind of back off and give him a little bit of room there, and, if he needs me, he'll call me. Other than that, I let him deal with his family. And we've gotten along. He's the first person I met when I moved to Florida. And we became really good friends, and I've made many friends since. But he was the first person that I talked to just going out. I just kind of drove out on the roads of the local town to see where everything was, and I saw, I'm into cars, so I saw a bunch of cars lined up in a parking lot, and I'm like, oh, I got to check this out. I got my cool ride, so I cruise in there, and it's from one car nut to another. We just hit off a conversation in like 2 seconds, and we've been friends ever since.
That is amazing. And you know what, Thomas, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to cherish that.
Oh, I do.
You need to cherish those friendships. I do. I cherish them like, I guess you can say I cherish them like gold. I don't know if that's a proper word.
More than gold.
That's, yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. but there's other words, but I just don't get tongue-tied and stuff, because it's just, I can't think of the word, but that's just the only one that's coming to me, because I know on my show and then other shows, I get tongue-tied. I'm not kidding you. I'm just tired of it because I'm like, oh my God, what is that? What is that damn word? You know, you just you just can't remember it at the moment, and then you're like, oh, that's the word. But they'll come to me. They'll probably come to me, but not right now.
Well, that'll be one of this. Will be later on in the conversation. You'll pop up with the word, and you will hit it. I don't know what I have trouble describing my friend because I don't call him my best friend because I don't look at it that way. He's like family. He's more like a brother to me than just a friend. You know, Daryl's my brother from another mother, so we're TPs. Oh yeah, when I got there, the first thing we did was jump in my.
Oh, and by the way, Daryl, I know you can watch me on camera. Just want to say hi. Hi, Katie, if y'all can see me.
Oh yeah, they can see you. I got you up on there because they're restreaming the YouTube, and you're on the YouTube one. So I know everyone can hear you. I couldn't get the photo on my Facebook, but all the other Facebooks that it's restreamed to should have you and me in it, because that's what a wonderful job Katie and Daryl do with producing our shows, and they have our back. It amazes me how hard they work, and you know, I got to see what entails. You know, I've seen in person now how hard they work and what they do to make these shows happen, and the work they do behind the scenes that we don't even realize happens, and they do a wonderful job with it. And I just, as soon as I got there, we went and jumped in my truck and went driving around for about 3 hours, and we probably took 400 pictures. We were just like we had known each other all our lives and just was cruising around having a good time. So Daryl's the reason that I'm back on the air. When I left, I was not coming back at all. I mean, the last network I was on was so discouraging in the lies and stuff that was told and the abuse that I watched him pull on other people. I couldn't stand it, and I left. And I love doing this. I absolutely love it. But for 2 years, I didn't do anything until I couldn't take it anymore, and I was doing a Facebook Live thing. I was doing one of them about once a week for about an hour, and Daryl caught it, and it took him all of about an hour to talk me back into coming back on and bringing blue-collar politics to GERN, and I'm glad he did. I love the network.
Yeah, and I do too. And you know, it's funny, because I was always a guest on other shows, and Daryl and Katie know that.
Right.
We go way back. And for the first time, I felt, you know, just even a privilege or even an honor to be a host. I would have never dreamed that. You know, there was ideas that I wanted to, but I just said, you know what, I'm not going to ask. If it's, you know, if it's a God-given gift, God's going to provide me that blessing in itself through someone,
right,
you know, whoever it is. And they were the ones that were chosen. And it's funny how that worked because we reconnected. So there's no coincidence in that. So that's God's saying, you know what, you've done for us, done for people. Now it's time for me to give you something in return. And that's funny because what you give out is what you give back, but sometimes you give back tenfold. You get back more than what you give out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It varies in what field you're in when it happens.
I see that very concept in my garden every year. We finally moved into a house now, and me and my mom, we built the garden, planted almost every seed I had, and I love, because the whole concept of you reap what you sow is to me, I have a green thumb when it comes to the garden. I couldn't keep a flower alive to save my life. But just like I have no control over money, and I know that, I shouldn't even touch it because wherever I'm around, it just disappears and gets spent. I'm not very good at keeping money. I wish I was. I wish there was a way to fix it, but I don't understand what's wrong, or why even knowing I should save money and put it over here, I don't. I need something for my studio, I go get it.
Well, you know what I was going to tell you right now? I remember somebody that told me this, and it's kind of hard and it's weird. I can't think of what it's called. I'm trying to think of the word. Like if you get a paper and you divide it, put the negative things and good things about you. You could probably write so much negative stuff if you wanted to, because that's the first thing that happens is always negative. You could put so many things like, I don't like the way I look, I got extra skin, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes, it's like, it's harder to really sit there and think. You're like, what am I going to put? And what I'm about to tell you is what someone told me. Okay?
Okay.
God made you special the way you are. Okay?
Yeah. Oh,
God
no, I got
loves
my
you.
good points.
You are amazing. Okay? You are wonderful, caring, and I'm actually getting this for you. You're considerate for others. You're a good listener. You're a good provider. So the way God made you is the way you are. Don't question it. Don't question anything. Just go with it. Well, that's how God made you.
I have been, but there's a few people in my life that do ask, why can't you handle your money better? And I'm like, I don't have an answer for them, and I
wouldn't have an answer either if they told me that. You wouldn't think about it at the time. I mean, 'cause to me, you know what I think? Why? And this is not, to disrespect, but what I'm thinking is, to you, money is just to make the money, for us to survive. But to you, I feel that you do take your priorities, you do your priorities, and you do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, it's not about money for you.
No, it's
you can
not.
care less. You could be poor. You could be
poor.
Just without any money. And you, like, if you saw someone walking down the street and they didn't have a shirt, you would take their shirt and you would give it to them.
I have.
And you'd sacrifice for that. And I see that
I'm
different in that aspect.
I am not afraid to walk the walk. I preach about certain things, and I do always preach about good values and in survival to help other people, because it's going to take a community to survive no matter what the situation is. You cannot do it yourself, period. You have to find a group, and certain people are going to be better than others in certain things. And you find out who has what your God-given talent. Because I believe that God, when you're born, God goes, okay, you are going to have this talent. And he blessed me with a 165 IQ. He blessed me with the ability to, because I had a body shop for years, and I have a talent for making cars flat and beautiful again when they've been destroyed. And I have a talent when it comes to research and getting at the truth. And I know the talents that I've gotten. Now, as I was saying, God gives you these talents. Now, I believe that when you die, death is only the beginning, but your talents are no longer needed. So he puts them back in the talent pool and he hands them to someone else. I think.
Oh my God.
That's how I think the talents talents are reincarnated, but you're not. Once you're dead, but the life, to me, the life after death is a much better life than we're living now. I think this entire existence is BS, and I put no value on money. I put no value on monetary things. I value...
That's funny that you said that, because, our gifts are God-given. And it's funny you said that. You know what I got when you said that?
What?
Our gifts are borrowed.
A what?
Our gifts are borrowed.
Yes.
God gives us a gift, and He puts it in us. And then once we die, it comes out of us, and it goes to somebody else.
Yep.
And then sometimes, even though our gifts are given out, sometimes we have the opportunity to be a spirit guide or an elder to guide them with their gift. That makes sense?
Actually, it kind of does, because I understand things. I would look at something, not understand it, and then a couple days later completely understand it, could rip it apart, put it back together, and I don't know where it's not like I read a book on how to do this. I just do it. No one taught me how to do body work. I just, I looked at a very...
You knew it.
Right.
You knew it.
I just, so it's got to be flat so you can paint it. One chemical goes on another. They got directions on the can. And next thing I know, I had a body shop.
And that goes along the ways, too, with remembering who you were. That goes along the lines of remembering your past. That's where you get deja vu. That's why sometimes when, say if a person is a painter, they know what colors go with what. They know what stands out, what doesn't. And that's a carpenter, a lawyer, a psychiatrist, a spiritual counselor, a psychic, a police officer, a fireman. It's
Right.
all the same thing, but in a different field. They're all given a gift to understand, just to understand that. So that does make sense, what you said. It really does. And when you look at that, what you just said, that's why I went like this, and I said, oh my gosh, you really made me think about the gifts. So I just wanted to tell you, Thomas, thank you for sharing that. I really do.
No problem. That's what we're here for. And I've learned along the way.
So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that, because that does mean a lot. It really does.
You are welcome.
So
I don't do good with compliments, so I've never really been that good at receiving them.
and so that does mean a lot. So.
But I very much appreciate that. I really do.
I mean, you're welcome, and you know what? And it's, to be honest with you, it's an honor to to know that I'm on your show, and it's funny because I do feel like I've known you forever, and it was funny because we were always trying to get on the show, so it was weird, like we could never connect, and I'm gonna tell you right now. There was a reason for that. It was like I was told that it was in divine timing. That's why it happened that way. That's exactly what it happened. It was meant at a certain time and frame. That's why we couldn't connect, because you were going through your stuff and I was going through my stuff.
Daryl,
so we were trying to find each other, and look what happened.
Yes. You basically are the third guest of my show ever. And your name is in very good company. Race Hobbs owns Paranormal Radio Network, which he has all his own hosts and everything, and then he'd come on my show on Blue Collar Politics so he could talk about family, because I like interviewing it doesn't matter who they are. When I get them on, I want to let them talk about their family, let them talk about what they do, something that's dear to them. I mean, he goes on the radio and talks about paranormal stuff all the time. He doesn't want to come on my show and talk about paranormal stuff. He's got a whole network. He's making money. I have no listeners compared to the people that he has listening. He has thousands and thousands of listeners, you know. And then I interviewed, I can't remember his name now, but Daryl has been trying to get me to interview people for years. And, Dave Emmons, I interviewed, and then he became a host. So he was the second person, or no, he was the first person. Ray Hobbs was the second, and you are the third person I've ever interviewed. I'm very picky about who I let on my show because I'm not a big fan of doing interviews. I'd rather just chit-chat with someone and, you know, find out, do we have similar interests? Do you understand the histories of the world, and, you know, what your thoughts are and how you look at family and stuff like that. It's just, I'm having trouble explaining it, but it's just,
yeah, I understand.
I'm picky, and I got so much to talk about that. I mean, I got 3 shows, and I don't need a guest to get through 4 hours of show. I can just go. Because the whole time I wasn't on the air, I was still studying and being handicapped, other than me being in college, which I now have my degree. And I'm going to start back up as soon as this COVID-19's over. I'm going to work till I get my master's degree, and I don't care if it takes me till the day I die. I'm going to get that master's degree. But I've always spent, 8 to 10 hours a day studying and reading and trying to, because I want to know what our past is. Because if you don't know your past, then you're doomed to repeat it. And I don't want to repeat the failures of, a lot of people that came before me. I would like to see a better society, but you got me started on that now. And
now I got you. You know what? I tend to do that to people. I tend to rub off on people, and you know what it is? I just think that just what makes me humble and caring, because I can relate to people. Yeah. And like I said, God does not make mistakes with giving people. He knows who to choose. He knows what gives and what people say, okay, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to choose you, and I'm going to choose you to be this and it's just, he knows. There's no mistakes. And with the people that that you meet, what I've learned within the past, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes you feel like it's the right decision to make sometimes with the people that you talk to, but sometimes it's a life lesson that not everything is up as it appears to be.
Right.
And then there's sometimes where there's a lesson you need to learn from it, and then you gather up and then you move on. It's okay, you know what? I'm not doing that mistake again. So not everything is, it's a lesson, and sometimes God will just throw you this. I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to throw you this lesson. I'm going to put something in front of you, and you stand back and you're the observer. So you're like trying to see what you can see from outside in. Not everybody sees their own life because they're so, what is the word I'm looking for? I want to say clouded. I don't know if that's a proper word right now.
A mirror
but that's just
never shows exactly what you're looking at. So every time you look in a mirror, you're not seeing your true self. The only way you can truly see yourself is to step out of your own body and turn around and look. So the mirror always embellishes.
It's a reflection.
Exactly. I think it's a reflection of more of your feelings than it is your physical body, although it shows your physical body. But you look at it at the emotion that you're feeling, and that's what you see when you look in the mirror. So if you're happy one day, your complexion's completely different than if you're angry. So when I look in the mirror, I see different people. And I never see the same person twice. I always see someone else when I look in the mirror. It's been kind of weird. And you just said, here we go, we did it. You did it again. I was going to ask you, I lost my leg a month and a half ago, but I have not figured out what lesson I am supposed to learn from that yet. As you were talking about, I swear you hadn't got to that yet, and that's when you're freaking me out a little here, because that's like the third time tonight you started talking about a subject that I was just getting ready to ask you, and that is the lesson I have not figured out. Why God never throws anything at us we can't handle. But why did he think I can handle losing my leg? I ain't figured that one out yet.
You know what? Well, I can't figure it out because I don't know you yet, in that aspect. But maybe it's probably... that's a good question. Now I got to think about that one. The only thing I can say is to not give up.
Oh, never.
And to have the courage that if something happens to you, that gives you the courage to be even more stronger, to motivate you to go further, if that makes sense.
Adversity makes me grab the rope tighter, stick my feet in the ground even harder, and pull harder. I don't slow down when I fail at something, I just simply turn around, get back up, grab the rope, and try to pull it again. I don't stop till I get it. I'm kind of a pit bull like that.
Yeah.
It gets me in trouble.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that when you're telling me that and you're asking that question, sometimes we take things for granted. And I don't know if this sounds right or wrong, but I'm not the person, that's not my place to say. But the only thing I can think of is that if we take things for granted, sometimes things are taken away to appreciate life more. I don't know if that makes sense, but that, like I said, that's not my place to say.
Yeah, it does.
Because it doesn't make it right for your leg to lose your leg, but there is a reason. It's just that you gotta, and it's funny that you said about mirror. I think the only thing I could say is that look within yourself when you look in that mirror and have your inner soul and ask, why didn't I lose my leg? And the first thing that pops up is a correct answer. Now the thing is, once you get that answer, you need to be able to accept what you were given, what the answer that you got. And that's another thing. Not everybody can accept the answer that they're given. Because you want to know why? Because they don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to hear the truth, then they're just not ready to hear the answer. I don't know. And it's funny because as we're talking about this, I can feel God's presence in me. And, like I said, you wanted to know me. Okay? We're not doing readings. It almost feels like more of, I don't know what the proper word would be. I don't want to say insight, because that's almost like a reading itself. There's another word. See, I'm getting, my mind's going 100 miles an hour, trying to catch up with what I'm saying. There's more to it. There's more to it. There's more to our lessons. There's more to life in itself. There's more to when we cross over. The life continues. The only thing is that on the other side, the vibration is completely different from this realm. Completely different. And it continues.
Yeah.
So whatever you did in this life, you do it up there, but the only difference up there is that it's a higher vibration. So if you were a radio host, you're going to be doing a radio host up there.
Oh, that would be cool to interview Jesus.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Jesus will say, okay, if you want to interview me, go ahead.
That would be a cool interview. I got some questions. So
Yeah, and we all do, and it's like I said, there's more to life than meets the eye. And
one thing, let me tell you, hold that thought, because we're like 20 minutes past when I should have already played commercials. So just bear with me. I got to pay the bills for a few minutes, and then we will continue. This is Sci Fi Talk. I'm your host, Thomas Fry. We're with Chris Garcia, our guest tonight, and we will be right back after these messages. Maybe.
Are you tired of coming home to find out only that you've been robbed? Did your alarm company call you and tell you that you've been robbed and the police will be there in 20 minutes? No one can stop all thieves, but at CK Custom Security Consultants, we can design and install a real CCTV security system that will give you the evidence you need to put them away.
Everyone knows me. Usually when I do interviews, I end up missing the commercials anyway. So I will just read the commercials, and we'll just do it the old-fashioned way because I can't play them. CK Custom, we are a CCTV security system installer, a security business consultant. We will walk through with your business free of charge and go over with you what you need for your security, what you need for your security camera system, whether it be a hardened access door, whether it be you're not sure where to place the cameras. We will go through and offer our opinion, and we will do a layout for you to cover all your access points and everything else. You can call us at 352-321-9519. And CK Custom is a sponsor of Sci-Fi Talk. Also, we have Kaleido Silver at the bluecollarpolitics.org website. We've been selling it for going on about 10 years now, and we manufacture it on our own to an 18 parts per million, which is the perfect nanometer size particle in heretically distilled water. I think I said that right. And it comes in 2-ounce bottles. And my buddy who uses it religiously, he says a 2-ounce bottle lasts his family of 5 about 2 years. It works on everything from bacterial to viral to just about anything that isn't going right. It works on everything. So if you'd like to check it out or find out more information about it, you go to bluecollarpolitics.org. And it's the BCP store button. Just click on that, and it has everything that you would ever need to know about it, and we have it there. They also are a sponsor of the show, so I want to thank them for doing that. And this is Sci-Fi Talk. I am your host, Thomas Fry, and we are with Chris Garcia. And we will get back to we are having a wonderful conversation, and if I could just skip paying the bills the whole time, I would. But it looks like we're having a little technical issue that is forcing us not being able to play them. So that must mean that I'm meant to talk to Chris for as long as he wants to, and let's get back to the interview. So, I guess we will start off. Let's start off this one with another one of my questions from my list.
Okay.
Now, this is something I know nothing about. It says, what star sign are you?
What star sign am I?
I don't even know what that is. So you'd have to explain to me what that is, as well as tell us what your sign is.
Well, I'm a Virgo, if that's what you're talking about, the zodiac.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a Virgo, too.
Okay, if that's what you're saying. And my planet is Mercury, if you're talking about astrology. And then I'm also a Palladium. Oh, my God, I'm getting tongue-tied already. Palladium. I also, you can label me as an indigo child, crystal child. We're labeled as so many things. It's unbelievable. Uh,
Hey,
there's just so many.
are you left-handed by chance?
Left-handed? No, I'm right-handed.
Oh, that's the only thing, because I'm a Virgo also, and as you're reading down, I don't know what planet I am. I don't even know how you know that fact. I know I'm a Virgo because I've read my horoscope in the daily paper. As silly as I always thought, as silly as those things are, they only hit about 1 out of 20 hits for about half of it. But now, do you mess with tarot cards at all?
Yes, I do, but I don't really need them. That's only when I need to. I usually do that with, I guess, one-on-one readings, like personal. But lately, I've been doing readings on Messenger, just for you to know, because we have like a group, and we have different groups. We have one that's a regular group. There's like, I don't even know how many people, I can't even think. Then we had a reading group where we just, if somebody wants a reading for me, most of the time I'll just do it, and then I'll add different people when I know who they are. And at the Pacific time, some people will be like, you know what, because I feel like I need to be involved in this. So it varies. And then just today, and I'm being told to say this, that we just made a praying group. And to me, that's going to be just only with some people that, that know me, and then there's others. And I feel like a lot of people need to pray more, is what I'm being told with that. With the way things are, it's just, I think we need more praying more than ever. And we need to come as a community and as society and work together as humans and come back together as humanity and just remember where we came from. So basically, you got to look at your roots, if that makes any sense.
Now, what do you do when, all right, I was adopted by a loving set of parents who, my mom is still with us. My dad has passed on. And me and my mom kind of teamed up and got this house, and we've been fixing it up together and stuff, because we both had slumlords where we were living at, and she had, I don't know why they did this, but at her last apartment, they put the AC right above the the fuse panel. So when the AC started leaking, it came right down the wall and just started pouring over the electrical fuse panel. And
wow.
And this landlord was so good that she didn't even acknowledge it, let alone called back for 3 or 4 days after it had already caused the wall to fall down. The drywall got so soaked that when we kind of helped it a little bit there at the end, it just poured water out of the wall. And then I spent a couple, I think 2 or 3 days, taking towels and shoving them in the fuse box and, with a pair of rubber gloves on so I didn't get zapped, and then pulling them out to try to keep water out of the fuse panel. And I know everyone's going to say that's dangerous. Yes, it is if I go sticking my hands in the fuse panel, but I didn't put any up at the top where I didn't cross the poles. I put them on the sides. I was very careful about how I did it. And we kept having to change these, pull out the wet ones, and put in dry ones to keep the water from running direct. The landlord never bothered. She sent the maintenance guy over who doesn't know how to do drywall, and he asked him to walk into the house with duct tape and chicken wire to fix the wall. And I said, no, I don't think so. And I ripped it out, I replaced it, and I cut just what I needed to, and the maintenance guy was over trying to help the best he can, and the landlord's nowhere, sight unseen, no money for supplies, and we had to pay for everything ourselves. he climbs up to help me and ends up falling through the ceiling. So now I got to do twice as much ceiling to fix it. And I finally got it all fixed, got it all done. She finally did give us some money, but it barely covered the supplies. It didn't even begin to cover the time, but it's my mother. I would have done it no matter what. There's no question. When it comes with me and my family, if a family member needs me, I'm there. Whatever I can do, I'll be there to help. And that was her experience with the landlord. So, Ann still expected the rent on time, but yet, and there was another tenant down the way that his refrigerator broke. So she goes, well, it's going to take a couple weeks to get another one, so we'll get it up at some point. And left him with, he had custody of his child, so there was a minor child in the house. He's paying to have a refrigerator, and, you know, when you're paying for an apartment, you expect to have a refrigerator, stove, all that working. He had to go buy ice every day and keep all his stuff in coolers in which he didn't know and he had to go buy. That's how wonderful this landlord was. So, not very good at all. And mine, I just, you know, I was in Section 8 housing, so you know how that goes. If you are not dying or the roof is not caving in on you, they will not fix anything. So I went for almost a year and a half with no refrigerator, but it would turn on. It wouldn't get cold, but it would turn on, and so they said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's working." But yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So we just said, "To heck with it. We teamed up and got this house, and we ended up. The previous owner kind of omitted a few issues, and we've got most of them cleaned up and got it. I really like it now. I really like the house. I like my studio. I'm kind of in the foyer because we had to spend the money fixing it up. But, it was such a shame that, and in that Section 8 housing, they're collecting almost $1,000 a month for my brick apartment, and they didn't put a single dime into it for 5 years. Nothing. They didn't even replace the cabinets before me. And
that is some crazy crap. Wow.
So now I'm happy. I can go out the front door, and we got a beautiful yard, which we got all cleaned up, and it took some work, and I had to replace a whole bunch of plumbing and do electrical work, but, all that's done now, and thank God I didn't lose my leg at the beginning. I lost my leg at the end, so I only had to work a few things with only having one leg, but I was able to get it done, and it's a beautiful home now. I mean, it's not just a house, it's a home.
Yeah, and that is when you put love into a house, and you put God in your heart, no matter where. You don't have to go to church. You can bring God into your home and you make it a home. It's different from a house to a home. I mean, I'm not saying disrespecting anyone, but if you put love into, most people say, oh, yeah, I'm moving into the house. You can turn it into a home. It's just all up to you. And I do believe that if you put God in your heart, automatically that home is going to be God's home.
Mm-hmm.
It's God's home.
Very much so.
It's God's home. And I have to say that. And for Daryl, I like that comment you said. I was looking at Daryl's comment. I'm looking at on the other phone. So if y'all see me looking like sideways, it's because I'm looking at the phone on the comments, and I'm looking at everyone, throwing the hearts and saying much love to everyone out there. And other than that, I just want to say I love y'all guys and for the support and people that believe in me and still believe in me, even though I'm going through a lot of stuff. But, I remain strong-willing, and just move on forward and just keep on going. So I just wanted to say that out there. And I'm not going to say the show. I'm not going to say the show unless you give me permission. I mean, I can if I want to, but out of respect, I don't do that. Okay, well, in case if y'all don't know, Me and Thomas are on the same network. So just in case if you don't know.
Say the name of your show. Go ahead. Speak it, brother.
We're on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network.
You are allowed here to...
With your very own host. That's what everybody else calls me, the most famous psychic Chris, but I'm just going to change that up. They're very well renowned psychic on the House Parker Files.
Yes, sir.
On the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. So I just had to just say that. I might just even use that new phrase, renowned psychic. And you can say famous psychic, but I just want to just throw that in there.
Now, I was going to post your Facebook page, but then I realized I had all what I was watching on the other computer, and I can't just swing it over. So I'll ask you to type in your Facebook page so people get to see that that's how they can get a contact with you.
I can do that. I mean, or people can do that for me. I mean, because there's times where I don't even know how to tag that stuff, Thomas. I wish I knew how to do that stuff. The only thing I did do, when I do the shows, even on mine, and then I did it on yours right now, I shared it on my phone so people could see it. So I shared it on Facebook, and that's why, people that are coming in, because I said, you know what, we got to promote the network, This is what we do. And the way I see it is it's grown. There still needs more, more growing involved. And I feel like I told Daryl this, that we're going to grow so fast, it's going to be unreal. Yeah. And I've gotten validation for that. So Daryl's like probably screaming his ass off and be like, yes!
Oh, I like that's what I was saying earlier, is I love where he's taken this network. I mean, I did ask him one day, I'm like, dude, why did you name it Global Enlightenment Radio Network? I mean, I understand the meaning, but damn, that's long when you're writing in advertisements and stuff. You got to hand type all that stuff in, and that's like, a 70-letter word? I mean, it was really long, but the understanding and the idea behind Global Enlightenment Radio Network is self-explanatory, I think. And it is, it means that we all come from our heart, and he keeps that. And that's what I was talking with you about earlier. I didn't want to say the host because he got rid of him, but the rest of us, we all talk amongst ourselves. You feel free to advertise on my show anytime you want. Normally, and I didn't get a chance to, I've been so busy, so I'll tell you now, and I'll offer it for you now, but come up with an advertisement that, you know how they fit, like a little poster, or I'll do one for you if you want, and I meant to ask you if you wanted to have one that I could post on Facebook Live while we were on the air. I want people to know how to get a hold of you if they want to listen or talk to you or have you do a reading for them later. How do you have people get a hold of you? I mean, if you have a...
I can tell them to get me if they want to get a hold of me. I do have guests on the show that, I'm on the House Parker Files, on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. I tell them to get a hold of me if they want to talk directly to me, then they can. Now, if it's more of more private and more like wanting to talk to me, well, then they can reach me at my cell phone at 210-974-3470. Again, 210-974-3470. And then if they cannot do that, they can actually email me at garcia187bluelove@gmail.com. So that's the ways they can get a hold of me. I'm also on Instagram, but you got to save my number in order to pop up. I also have Twitter, but that one I don't know off on the top of my head.
I only use Twitter to follow people. I don't post anything on Twitter, but I do follow them on Twitter.
Yeah. The only thing I do for that one, when I get a chance to, I promote the shows that I'm on. Even when, when we were all together, I promoted it. And then now that I'm by myself, I promote it. So it just, that's what I usually use Twitter for. And it's the same thing with Instagram. I just take a screenshot of whatever and I just promote it. So no matter what show I'm on, I share it, and stuff like that. So I share it in so many other ways. It's just, I don't just stick to Facebook because I want to expand and to help more people and to reach out to more people in any way I can, if it's not even just to, not always about, doing readings or mediumship or missing persons cases or paranormal. Sometimes I even talk to people when they need encouragement, guidance if they're having these thoughts in their mind and telling them that God loves them. So you can see myself as almost like maybe a spiritual counselor or a psychiatrist in a way. I might not have it in paper, but I see it as that, if I can reach out to people that need me, I'm there, I'll drop what I can. If I'm not busy, most of the time I'm really not busy, but like today I was actually cutting the grass, so I was busy. But
and I interrupted
I'm not, and when I'm doing outside of what I do, I actually do feel a lot better because I did need to be outside because I haven't been outside in a while, but but now that I'm reconnecting with myself and connecting to nature, it's kind of reflecting back on me, and they're like, Chris, you haven't been outside. You need to come out and talk to nature, talk to the birds.
And you need that vitamin D. It's important.
Yeah. And it's funny because I reconnected today, and honestly, I felt good, and I haven't felt that good in a long time. So I just want to say thank you to everyone out there that's encouraging me to, just, start from the roots and work from the bottom up and start it for where I came from, and to always remember where I started and not to let anything get to me and just keep on going.
Yeah, when I called you earlier, I apologize for interrupting your lawn mowing, but you actually appeared bubbly to me. You looked like you were just as happy as a clam out there. Personally, I love doing yard work, and maybe that's why I saw it. Is I like getting out there and mowing the grass and getting my hands dirty. I love now. This year, I didn't get to plant my garden because I was sitting in a wheelchair, and my mom got to do it, so I didn't get to do it, but it did get planted. And hopefully we will have a bountiful harvest, but I love going out and doing the outside chores. We cleaned up the trees. They had let them overgrown. We thinned everything out so it has room to grow, and, I like seeing a tree grow in the shape that it's supposed to be. The one section in the back it had like 6 trees in a row. They were all the same height, but if you looked at the individual tree, each tree only had leaves at the top because there were so many of them jammed together. So I took the chainsaw and cut down 3 of them and only left 2. But now these trees can grow as the years will come and become big and round and shadeful, and it'll look presentful. I don't like, just like humans, we need space. Trees, plants, they all need space. You give them the proper space and they will flourish and look beautiful for you for years. We have 3 oak trees on the one side of our house that are at least 90 foot tall apiece. They're big, beautiful. Almost our entire yard is shade. It's awesome, especially in the Florida heat. We don't get a lot of that heat because we got the shade, the leaves of the tree blocking it. So I love being outside. So I was kind of envious of you when I was talking to you because I knew you were having fun. I know you may not like cutting grass, but, it's part of life. I love the smell and just how good.
That's why I was, it's funny. I was sneezing after that, Thomas. I kept sneezing, dude. I just kept sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. I was like, man, it was just, I guess, all the grass and, because, when you cut, it just flies in the air. So when I after I came back inside, I was like, oh my God, I know I'm gonna sneeze. I actually sneezed maybe 10 times, and probably even more than that. And I said to myself, "Oh my God, I'm gonna start sneezing again." But it was good to be outside because I needed to. That it's good to get sunlight. So actually, I felt like you said, I felt very bubbly and very optimistic. I'm very energetic today. I've been like that since maybe about going in a week already, and I just keep myself motivated. And no matter what obstacles or people are just envying me or jealous of me, I just throw that out the door and say, you know what, you can hate me all you want, but this is what I say. There's a reason why we're a host. There's a reason why I'm a guest. And I felt like I needed to be heard, and I said, you know what, I can't do this. I can't just stay quiet in the corner and just let my gift just stay there and not do anything about it. So just knowing that, I know that I was meant to be for radio, and there's more than just the radio itself, but to help people and connect to other people. So to me, it's just, like I said, it's never been about me. I've already done my share of promoting myself, but I know Daryl has said, you know what, because you need to promote yourself, blah, blah, blah. But it's not just about me. Now, if I have nights, if I promote myself, then I'll do it, but it's not something that I'm looking for. Now it's for me to give back, and help people out, and even if it's maybe someone talking and saying that they've gone through life, maybe that person that I have as a guest is going to reach out to others that are going through the similarities of the problems they're going through. So that's what I love to do. I just help people out in many ways I can. So.
Well, you are more than welcome to promote yourself anytime you want. And Daryl is right. It is very important that you promote yourself as you go. Unfortunately, no one else is going to do it for you. The network promotes you. You're on both the websites, and you can listen like a radio at Global Enlightenment Radio Network.com and GERN.live. That site will be up. I keep forgetting to make the call. The site's already built. I need to turn it back on, but it's got the player and all that on it, just like at bluecollarpolitics.org, my website. All my listeners know they can go to there and hit one button, and poof, you're listening to any of the radio shows that are on. So there are a lot of people that listen to us that we don't see on Facebook, and because like a lot of times they will see a lot more people than I do because they're hosting all the restreams. So on my restream, sometimes I only see one person all night. I don't see that there's actually a lot of people listening to me, but I'll get messages after the show. So for I'm looking forward to the messages I get after this show, because this show is definitely one of a kind. This is now I heard the thing, but I don't see the thing. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know if you heard that, but
yes, I heard that.
I keep telling people, don't instant message me through my Facebook while I'm on the air, because that ding in my ear hurts. My ears are captive when I'm when I'm on. You got a headset on, you can't move back from the speaker when it hits, and that ding is loud. So I always ask people, wait till after. So I get a lot of messages after. Do you get a lot of people like that come up to you after your show, or they don't come on?
Yes, I do. And it's funny you mentioned that, because just last week, I'm not going to say the name, I got a message from another podcast, and the funny thing about that is there's people already know about it, but I'm not going to say the name of the show, that in May, I will be on that show, and it's like the way you were talking about me, how you said he wants to know me as Chris, what Chris is about, besides the gifts, and to hear my story about how my gifts were brought up and how I was raised. And that's going to be in Maine. That's a matter of fact. That's going to be on a Saturday, and it's going to be on the show that I've never been. And it's funny because listen to
Promote
this.
the hell out of it. Go right ahead.
I'm going to. Yeah, and the funny thing about that is that show is going to be from Dallas, Texas. That's where I'm from. I'm from Texas.
All right, now I'm
so
curious.
For people,
what's the name of the show? Because people
I know it's
Dark
listen. Something. I just don't remember
Dark
the name.
Matter?
I don't have it off. Dark something. I don't remember. But I'll let you. I'll message you privately.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Because if you don't mind, I'll throw it out where everyone can see it. That way you can get more people to listen. I'm a firm believer that if it's going to be a show you're going to be on, you're not going to offend me by telling you that at a future date you're going to be on this show. I have no problem with you saying that you're going to be on it. That's kind of what, when you and I, the way I look at it, when we are talking host to host, it's not offensive to say, hey, I got this show coming up. And I wanted to talk to you about this, but I haven't had a chance, so I'll just do it on the air because I don't care. I'm going to be doing Comic-Cons where we're going to take my entire studio with us. I got a trailer out back. I got a truck to pull it. I got everything I need. We are going to go do Sci Fi Talk live from the Comic-Con floor in the like where they play basketball at. This is the first one we're going to is I think Missouri, and because the first one got canceled because of the COVID, so the next one coming up is we're going to be right on the floor, so we'll be able to interview Comic-Con attendees, and we'll be able to have the cameras going so we can show all the different costumes. But on Saturday, they're open till midnight, so we're going to do our show from there. And what I'm going to ask you and every other host is I would like for you guys to come along with me and do your show right from the floor. We'll have a studio. You'll have a live producer of Daryl and Katie there, so they'll be producing it right from there. We're going to set up like a little DJ booth, and they're going to be right there off to the side, so we'll have live phone numbers coming in. People will be able to call in. We'll be producing it right there on the floor, and I'm going to do a 5-hour show Saturday night from 7 to midnight. And I'm trying to talk everyone to come down, to come with me to that Comic-Con. And now the first one's going to be tight on the budget, but the second one will be fine because we're getting paid to do this. So it's not free, but they are more than covering the fees and everything to where everybody can walk away with, $400 or $500 from it, from doing it. So, and we got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so there's plenty of time that you could feel like do a special show or something if it's not in your exact time slot, but you do it Sunday, right?
I do the shows on Mondays and Fridays.
Oh, Mondays. Oh, Friday was the one. Okay, I was thinking of, because it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that you could do it live from the Comic-Con if you'd like, and you could do whatever you want. Live readings right as people are walking by. We're going to set up a table where they can just sit down and have a chat with us, and I think that would be a really cool thing. We've been working on this in the background, but COVID-19 has really put a dampener, and now that I've lost my leg on top of it, there's a few things still up in the air, but I'm still trying to do it because there's 5 Comic-Cons throughout the year. We've already missed one to this. I'm just hoping that they happen because I think that is the coolest thing when you go see 100,000 people dress up like their favorite actor on their favorite sci-fi show and stuff, and you see all these people walking around. I think it's amazing. I like being that the aura that comes from that floor is because everybody wants to be there. And they're friendly and they talk to you. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's good. that's good you're sharing that. I'm going to see if I can make it, try my best to make it. Hopefully, if I can't physically be there, I'll be there if I can do the broadcast. I'll figure out something because, depending on how long we have, is that in this month or is that, do you know when month this will
well, the first one was this last month, and they're about 2 months apart. So we got about a month and a half till the next one, but I still don't know if they're going to, I'm waiting to hear back from the general manager on whether or not I'm in communication with them. I'm just waiting for them to tell me, yes, it's a go. The next one, I think, is in Texas. So,
oh my gosh.
It's in Dallas, Texas. So.
Oh my gosh. That's so weird. Wow. That's up my alley, but the only thing that's about 4 hours from me.
Ah.
Wow. That's about 4 hours from me. I do have relatives in Dallas. That's funny you said that. That's why I was like, oh wow. That's just that creeps me out in a good way, because I'm just like, because I'm gonna be on the show in May, and then you mentioned Dallas, so I think that's there is something, and hopefully by the with this virus, if everything stops and we can travel, I'm gonna see if I can make it, because I do feel like we need to come back as a community, and remember people that we need to come back as a community and have so much humanity, because a lot of people, you've lost yourselves. And maybe with this, coronavirus, I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people, and I guess a lot of people haven't opened their eyes yet, but I guess it was meant to be, because it's a test to see how strong we are as society.
I think you've done an excellent job.
And I just think it was God's way of saying, hello, people, snap out of it. You need to stop being greedy. You need to stop being selfish. You need to open your eyes.
Get back to a family. We have forgotten
family
about
and
the
friends.
Family.
Yeah, and then if they don't connect, then what I'm about to say, a lot of people are probably not going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't care. Is that if you don't come back as a community or a society, or if you don't remember the humanity of where you came from, I'm going to tell you the truth. You lost yourself. You lost yourself completely. So you need to sit back and observe and say, you know what? If you can admit that you're wrong, then do it. Admit you're wrong. Because two wrongs don't make a right. I'm just saying. It's a true fact. But like I said, if we can come back as a community and help one another and stop, oh wow, that was a big word I just heard, competing with each other and trying to stop being better than one another, because in reality, that's what the devil wants.
Yeah.
And I went there. I actually went there, and like Thomas says, I don't care. I think that's probably why me and Thomas connect, because we both just don't care.
It is what it is, and that's how I'm going to speak it. My truth meter knows no bounds, and I get in trouble all the time for stuff I say, but it's the truth. I don't like holding back. I speak my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be fake. I'm so worried that I don't want to fall into what I see so many people in, and not I don't want to get morbid, but COVID-19, although it has brought, I think God made it happen this way, to where it forced us all to look at and to look within and to look within our family. Some people really need psychiatric help, because on some of the bad points of this, and it's stuff that needs to stop, is the children being attacked by their own drunken parents is up. Spousal abuse, domestic abuse is spiked through this, and stop drinking, stop looking at your family as a burden. They're not a burden. You said you love your wife when you married her, so show it. You're supposed to be married in good times and bad. You could make this bad time a good time by spending it with your family and paying attention to them and not beating the hell out of them. And, you know, they called, it pisses me off, but they called alcohol stores an essential business.
Wow.
That is so far from essential. Because I don't even have the words, you know, I don't like that part of it. I like the fact that we're kind of forced to be a family and, you know, to work within the walls of your own home instead of, you know, just running off to the neighbors or your friends and never being home, or some people that work and come home and then drink, and then, you know, the kids are in bed, so they don't have anything to do with raising their kids. Then all of a sudden they're nothing but around the kids all the time, and now they realize maybe they don't want children. I that's the only thing I could think of that would explain, but I never was one. I never could understand why somebody could abuse their own child or abuse their spouse.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. That's weird that you mentioned that too, because if you can't be true to your spouse and cannot be honest with your spouse and stop lying and stop, you know, saying that you're being faithful and you're just being a dumbass. How can I say it? I'm sorry to say that.
No. Speak it, brother.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, because I don't know if you cause I know you know that there's no filter in the shows, but I, like I said, I respect you.
Sometimes it takes a cuss word to explain what you're thinking. I mean,
I know. To me, it's just, if you don't remember where your roots come from, and you don't remember your roots and where you remember where you started, you just fucking lost yourself, period. Yeah. It's sad. Is that Thomas said that, and it's like, I don't know what it is. He must be in my head now. But but yeah, just, you know what? Love your spouse, love your husband, love your girlfriend, whatever. Your mom, your dad, you know, your sisters, brothers, and, you know, just so on and so forth.
Whomever you call family.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what's the thing. And the bigger message with this is, don't take them for granted. Because you wanna know why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because God can take them away like that in a snap of a finger. And the question is, you're not gonna be able to tell them you're sorry. You're not gonna be able to apologize to them. You're not going to be able to forgive yourself, and you're going to live with that damn guilt. Mm-hmm. Nobody else but you. But you can correct it. You can correct what you do, but it's your choice. I can't do it for you. Thomas can't do it for you. Daryl can't do it for you. Katie can't do it for you. Stacy can't do it. Amanda, you name it, Haley, whatever. Nobody else can do it for you but you. Mm-hmm. But you. Oh, and matter of fact, Tiffany too, my friend. But you just have to remember where you come from. Yeah. Remember that. And that's the bigger message. And it's funny because I'm looking at through the side of the chat, and what's so sad, and it's funny how they brought that up. We need to stop competing and stop fighting one another like we're having war. Okay? Because that's what the devil and the evil want. That's what it wants. Yeah. But if you give into it, then you're already sucked in the void. And everybody else is just like, you put yourself in that hole, it's time for you to get yourself out of that hole. Like the way you put yourself in, get yourself out. That's all I gotta say.
But some people just never learn. You know, and the only thing I will add to that perfect monologue is, if you can't do it, then divorce them and get the hell out. But why you do not have the right to make your family miserable just because you are.
Wow, big message. Very big message. And I didn't say it. Thomas said it.
I did. And, oh, by the way, to speak on never forget where you come from, out in my truck right now, I have a placard well, it's not a placard. It's one of them wood things, trinkets you get at the truck stops. They have all the states. I have an Ohio, and it's cut out of wood, and it's really cool, and it's got like a buckeye on it and everything, and like the state bird, and it's got like part of the flag on it, and it's cut in the shape of Ohio. And I have every vehicle I've ever owned, I hang in Ohio from the rear view mirror. So every time I get in that vehicle, I think of where I came from. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and I spent most of my formative years up to about 19 or 20. I lived in Ohio. So, and I became who I am in Ohio, so I don't ever want to forget. And I actually had a friend of mine that I hung out with for years pop up on the show last week, and he popped up in my Facebook and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And until we started talking about just now, I forgot. I should have called him during the week, so I'll have to remember to call him and tell him thanks for, he said a nice comment, and he always was a good friend of mine. We did Demolition Derby for years, and he loved to drive, and I just loved to build cars, so we were a perfect combo.
It's funny that, because like, remember how I told you, Thomas, when you asked me if there was any questions that were out of what you said?
Right.
To me, it doesn't really matter, because with me, I don't, some people just write shit down of what they're going to say. I don't. I mean, I know you wrote the stuff, what you wanted to ask me, and it's okay, because you wanted to ask these different questions. But for me, whatever spirit tells me, or whatever my guides tell me, or whatever my intuition tells me, I'm going to say it, and I'm not holding back. Because I'm sick of all this evilness. I'm done. It's sad how people are just so evil in this world, that the world's already bad as it is. Don't give into it.
Yes.
But of course people give into it. So I don't know. I don't know.
I have a new word for it. I call these people ignoramus. That's my word for people that are idiots, and that's what, a person that hits on a woman or hits on his children, and it was a word that me and my cousins had made up when we were kids, and it's a polite way of telling someone to go off. Stop doing what you're doing. You're an ignoramus idiot, and you need to, go somewhere else. This is a very, very good year for the family, and the way our politicians were taking us, and we, the American people, don't want to go that way. They think they know what's best for us, and I'm kind of getting sick of Biden coming up and saying comments like that all the time, thinking he knows better. And look at the last politician. I can't remember his name. The moron was out there, the CO2, we're all going to be dead by 2020. Oops, it's 2020. World ain't much different, but 10 years older, and it's still the same. So the carbon did not kill us, so you became a billionaire off a big fat lie, and I forget what it was called. I have the video, and I used to play it all the time, but it was one of those just to show how stupid some people are in these. The career politicians should not exist. You should not be. Our country was founded on people that are the politicians, are the ones that worked for all their life, and then in their retirement they become a politician to help. The federal government was just there to guide, maintain a military, and maintain social programs. They're not supposed to interfere in any other way. According to our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, and our Bill of Rights. but they've managed to. They're the ones that called this, and I don't know if you. Was playing a video at the beginning of the show that was telling people that this is no worse than the flu or anything else. The numbers that they said in the beginning are not the numbers now. So that's truly what it made. All right, this is God trying to get the family back together, because we didn't have to do it for the health reasons. So there had to be another reason why this happened. And I just think God finally said, all right, Americans or people of the world, I'll give you a break. I'll give you a shot to get back to the family, and I'll make them all think this is going to be bad. I'll make sure it doesn't get that bad, and then hopefully, and I think most people that are looking at, and I hear it on the radio station when I'm listening to the local talk shows here in Central Florida, and they're home with their family. They look at their family unit completely different now. We don't have Walt Disney. We don't have Universal Studios. We don't have all that tourist crap going on. It's just families entertaining themselves, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he had to take a step out for just a second. You get it handled? It looks like you're on the third headset.
I know, I had to get the headset because it was going, my battery was going.
Oh.
I was going to say, Daryl said, Thomas, if you want to give out the number, because he said that people are loving it, so it's really up to you. You know the number. I don't know your number. I don't know if it's the same as mine.
To call in to ask you questions?
Or they said for people to either call you or to ask, I guess, us the question. It's either you or me.
You can call me in on my Skype number because he's on Skype, so let's keep it simple. So call in on my Skype, which is, hang on a second here. Let me scroll up from my questions. And it would help if I grab the right mouse. Okay, let me scroll down. All right, my Skype is Thomas.Fry25. Or you are more than welcome to call direct to Chris, sorry. You can call directly into him, or you can call us at Skype here. If you, I forget if you have to actually become a friend or not, but any friend request that comes over, I would instantly accept it, so you can call in on Skype. But if anybody's got a question, you can shoot it through one of the million Facebook pages we have open. I know a lot of the comments are coming in where you can see them, and they're not popping in on mine. So if they want to get a hold of you through you and join in the conversation, they're more than welcome to. Go ahead and give out your number, and then one of the numbers, call us in. It doesn't matter who or what number you use.
Well, if they want to just reach me, would be 210-974-3470. Again, 210-974-3470. Now, I don't know if the number, the one that he said, Gerald, if you know his number, because you're the one that knows the number. I don't know the number. So if he's got a personal number they can call in, y'all, then it'll be showing up on the screen. So I'm pretty sure Daryl will be typing it in, because I don't know the number. We didn't get a chance to even think that we were going to get calls. I didn't know, and I'm pretty sure they're probably messaging Daryl and saying, okay, well, we want to take, are you taking call-ins, and, this.
No, that went straight from Daryl to you. That didn't even pop to me. Oh, my gosh, and now they're all now I got them all on my screen. I hit the wrong button. Oh, my gosh. Now I can see all the messages. So, anybody that wants to chat, you can come in. You can even come into the chat through the Skype. However you want to do it, it does not matter. Go ahead and call in. We'll just keep going, and if anybody asks any questions, I'll keep my eye out. So if I get any in over here, if you get one, just repeat the question, and then we'll go from there.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And you know what, Thomas, I'm actually enjoying this because, we didn't plan it. And
To me, that's the
and
best.
honestly, yeah, it's good that way because we can jump from one subject to another, like with the religion. It was funny because we were talking about that, and then we were talking about family, and then we were talking about values, talking about beliefs.
I got a question for
There's
you,
just
so we can go on to another one. What can you share about your most fascinating reading to date?
Wow.
If you're willing to share, if you can, names and dates and names, you can, use fictional.
I can't think of any. There's just too many. I can't really label one. Um, there's been like all types of readings. I've done like a few on Facebook, but this was before they changed that damn shit where you can go live with people. I want to say maybe like 3 videos I did on the paranormals on my Facebook, as a matter of fact. But to remember the most reading that I enjoyed,
okay,
there's not one that's not more than the other. I don't know. I can't think of anything. There's just so many. So much stuff I've done. It's like I can't label one more than better than another.
I stumped Chris.
I've been able to do walkthroughs of people's houses, and that was amazing to me. Giving me the opportunity to do that was an honor. So that can say that was an honor for me. So that's how I see it. I don't see anything that stands out more than another, because I think with all the readings from missing persons cases, paranormal, or doing walkthroughs of walking into someone's house and say, well, Chris, what do you feel here and here and this and there? So I really can't stand out which one is better than another. I think they've all been 100%, fun with any case that I've done. There's not one that's better than another. I think all of them have been amazing. So I can't really label one, but if I do, I will let you know. But in the moment, I'm just... I can't think of any.
Do not apologize for it. That speaks of your character right there. Just by saying there isn't one that stands out from another, that tells me the respect that you offer to the people that you talk to, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, I am fascinated by Can-Am 411. Have you ever consulted for him? He's a missing persons expert.
No, I haven't. You probably would have to send me the link or his name, and then I can go from there. But I'm going to tell you, it's funny, because with cases here, I already have, I want to say, 2 detectives on my Facebook that I worked with, but I haven't heard from any because we were working on the mom's case because she was missing. The only thing is that I've noticed the family's been acting kind of weird, and this was with a mom. That case, I did pick up a lot of things that there was just no way of knowing. That one was very touching, but it was funny because with that one, I did especially counsel them in a way to where I couldn't physically be there, but it was kind of like I just could give them guidance, and every time, and I would, do things, because there was one time where they had called me and I was fishing one time, and they called me and they said, Chris, we need to know what you think. And like every single damn time that they would call me, I would always pick up on different things. And they were just amazed by it, because they were just like, wow, you're still picking stuff up. And I said, yeah. And I told her, I said, you know what? Her husband killed her. And he killed her good to where we don't even know where her body is. But I told him, I said, she's not that far and she's not that close. She's just in the middle. And I still haven't heard from him, but I guess there's been kind of, there's more truth to that, I believe. I think there's more to things behind it, behind the scenes. I think, and it's funny because I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like this, Thomas, and I'm gonna tell you what's funny. One time they had called me, and they told me when I helped them, I told them, I said, you know what? I said, I have free time. I'm not doing anything. We can, we can go to your sister's house and we can do a walkthrough. And I said, okay, we'll go there. And we were talking about it the night before. Next day comes on and she says, I'm sorry, I can't make it because it's tight with gas and I can't go. And I'm like, you've been coming almost every weekend for the past 3 months, and all of a sudden you can't come? And I was like, something is wrong with that. So when I told my mom, because my mom was going to take me, we had the address. We were going to go. But unfortunately, they didn't want me to see something. I don't know what it was, but I knew that chance. And it was weird because she had told me that she had access to the halls, but they were renting the house out. And they said that there was a male and female living at the house, and they had children that kept seeing the mom that was killed. And I said, well, if he's not in the picture and the husband is away, I said, this is the time to go and look. Well, it turned out to be that it never came about, but I did pick up that there was something that they weren't telling me. And I said, okay, go ahead, keep your secrets to yourself because they're going to come out anyway. So when I told my mom that, she's like, something's not right because they were asking and asking and asking and asking for your help, and you were always busy, with doing your shows, and then not just the shows, but you were always doing errands. And it was funny because every time we would do it, it was on that day when they had a meeting, like they met at McDonald's or they met at Burger King. It was always something. And then the last time when we made it, she wasn't available. So I kind of picked up that maybe her husband, the one that was the other sister that was looking for her sister, I kind of felt like he was behind it, but I didn't tell her that. But I never got the chance to meet her, and I was actually going to do a walkthrough from not the inside, just the outside of the house and the neighborhood. And even though I've never been there, I saw it on pictures through Google, and just the vibe that I got very unsettling, very uneasy. I got very secretive. I got not everything was told. There was more things that were not even told to the media, which I was picking up on. So I just said, you know what, if they're gonna call me and they are legit to looking for her sister, they'll call me. And guess what? I still haven't heard nothing. But I helped them. So I think there's somebody that that was lying and not telling me everything, but I already knew that. So when they told me that I couldn't make it, I was like, something's not right. There's something on that house. There's something that's there that nobody had not even found, not even to the police. But the chances I didn't go because she canceled. So knowing that was said, that was so weird because I realized that there was something more that she wasn't saying. So I kind of figured, you know what, God, I'm going to leave this in your hands. If it's meant for me to help them, I'll help them. If not, then, I can't do nothing because if they don't want my help, I can't help them. I'm not going to force myself because then that's almost like what you call trespassing. And I'm going to go into a person's house that they're in the house and they don't see me coming. I can get arrested for that. So I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in that position. So, yeah, that's one incident that happened to me, and I was just like, and to this day, it still bothers me because I know she's somewhere and they still haven't found her. So hopefully that they will, but it's sad because that's one story that I would love to put an ending to either bring her alive or to bring her whatever's left of her body if it's all in no bones. But
give her a proper burial and the prayers over.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And I couldn't, and that's the thing. I couldn't do that. So so that's the thing. I couldn't do that. And just knowing that I couldn't make a difference, it hurts me. I ain't gonna argue. It does. Because that's my field of expertise. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't do it because I'm not going to force myself and then get in trouble in the process. So it just didn't feel right. So I said, you know what? I can't do this. If they're not going to need my assistance, then there's something that's going to come on them that they're not telling me. And I'm pretty sure that they have suspects that the cops have told them That I think the cops have other suspects that they haven't mentioned, but I'm pretty sure the suspects, the cop don't want to tell the family that, hey, if it's a husband, the husband tagged on double teaming with someone else. So as far as we know, one of the sisters could have wanted her own sister dead.
Yeah.
So,
That's a tragic case. I sent you a link to the Can-Am Missing 411 site that I was talking about. I always try to bring attention to it because, like you were just explaining with this case that you had, he's not a psychic. He's basically a paper pusher, and he just gets the story from everybody and then writes it down and then goes and looks at it forensically later of the words and what, he writes it. He's said he's meticulous in writing everything down word for word because you never know when a word in a sentence that someone used gives you the answer for that. And he has dealt with cases where you probably were needed because he only does the national parks. Okay, so there's millions of people that have vanished, just out and outright vanished in our nation's parks. And there was one case that me and Daryl were talking about and have talked about several times that all they found of this guy was his boots and his skeleton feet in the boots and his socks still on, but nothing from the ankle up. And it was like he was sitting, the boots were together up against, backed up to a log. May I ask what that noise is?
No, it's a dog.
Oh, okay. I kept hearing
He's coughing.
Ah.
Yeah, he's coughing. It's just I think it's an allergies. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just was curious. But they never, and to this day, that case has never been solved. They don't, it was not a bear or something. Nothing's going to clean him at his ankles and leave the bottom part not touched. None of the tree that was down was affected. It wasn't because if it was a bear, the tree would be all tore up too if he's tearing up someone over a tree.
You know what's funny when you say that? Oh my God, I don't know if my other friend is watching, but this has came up and it's all over the country, and I'm pretty sure everybody. I don't know if Stacy knows this, my friend Amanda. Tiffany, and I know they're going to be freaking out. Even Allison, I know you're watching. Thank you for saying it's a good show.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all I want to say is that they call it smiley face killers. And it's so weird because the smiley face killers go on religion-based. Some of them are targeted as because some of them are gay, bisexual, or even people that are into more religion or Wiccan and all that, and they have become target. And they've been what usually do when they kill the body, they'll get like a spray paint, and they do it like a circle, and they put like two eyes with a smiley face, and they'll put different colors right where the body's at. Now it's weird because I don't know any prior knowledge. Only you and Daryl know that. Okay, but in my head, I see a smiley face in front of either the body or on the side. And in my mind, I'm seeing a wooded area. And with the boots that you're saying, I don't know if I heard correctly, but did you say red boots?
I didn't specify the color. They were just...
Okay, well, I heard red.
Okay.
I just heard red. So that's just weird because I could have sworn I heard red came out of your mouth, but you just validated it didn't come out of your mouth, so that was spirit talking to me. So it's weird because I'm being told that whatever that red signifies, the thing that I'm getting was passionate. Whoever this person killed, and I'm being told it was a woman. It was his spouse. She was jealous of him. She killed him because supposedly he was cheating on her, which I'm being told he was not. She wanted him out of the picture because she was cheating on him. Okay.
The guilt-ridden mind of the guilty person.
Mm-hmm. And she wanted him to be dead for insurance money. Okay? That's what I got. And as far as the name, I can't get a name, but I usually can get letters. You know what? You need to send me that case. We need to talk after the show. I'll tell Daryl.
I will.
I love those kind of things. But you need to, Daryl, if you can message me during the show or whatever on Messenger, you can do that later. Oh, wow, that was just weird. Okay. I know I just did not see that. Hold on. Just got a second. Okay, there was a face that just appeared right in front of me right here over my phone. Okay, that was weird. Brown eyelashes, short hair, shoulderly. I want to say mid-30s, mid-40s of the guy. I'm actually shaking. I'm freaking out. This is weird. I never usually shake, so that's telling me that when she was killing the body, she got paranoid. She didn't plan it. It just happened like that. She just got into a rampage, and almost like and I'm like I'm nervous, so I'm feeling her emotions when she was doing it. And then as far as the vehicle, I want to say it's like an old Ford. Here in 1980s. I'm not good with vehicles and cylinders. I'm not good with that shit. But it's an old vehicle, and it's almost like, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the movie Uncle Buck?
Yeah.
It was that kind of vehicle. I can't remember. I want to say it's a Ford.
That was
I could be wrong with.
That was a. Oh my God! It wasn't. It was like a. Oh, crap.
Chevy. Chevy.
I think it was a Ford station wagon. I think.
I can't remember. It's been a long time, and I love Uncle Buck too because I love John Candy, but he passed away of a heart attack, by the way.
Now I heard.
I want to say it was either a Ford or a Chevy. And it's weird because I'm picking up this energy, and you know what? I want to get it. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question without telling me. Why do I see 10s with this? Is this case 10 years old?
Maybe in sets of 10s. I think from my memory it was back from the 80s. So if it was, I want to say like 1980. It's going to take me a minute to find it because it's one of hundreds of cases on there, and I only remember a portion about it. But I can get you the actual report written by the police, the who do you call, the Rangers. I was reading it from the actual Ranger report. All they found was ankle down, his feet still in his boots. Never have found the rest of them. Gone. No trace of it.
Wow.
So
it was just the boots. Wow.
Just the boots.
The rest of his body was gone.
Right. But his feet was in it. No flesh. But his socks was over his skeleton feet. And they found it within days of him being missing.
Okay, I'm shaking again. This is freaking me out. When you can, let me know. But
I sure will. And I sent you a link to the site so you can peruse it yourself also. But I will find this one because it's one of the very first ones that he did. So it shouldn't take me that long to find. He does a wonderful job.
Okay.
Bringing all the...
Okay, while you're looking for that, you know how you said it was just the legs?
Right.
And then okay, well, this is what's disgusting. This is so weird. You know how you said it was just the legs and the rest of the body was gone?
Right.
This is sick. Okay? I don't mean to get so graphic, but I'm going to just tell you what I see. Okay, everybody take a deep breath for everyone that's listening, because you're not going to like what I see. Okay, the arms chopped off. Okay?
Okay.
Those were buried. Okay? From here down was by the water. Okay? The head was chopped off, which is the skull.
This was an angry woman.
Mm-hmm. In front of a tombstone, in front of a cemetery. And I'm being told that there was either, I don't know if it was a ring or some kind of jewelry that was his, and she put it right in front.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And this,
incredible.
and you know what? It's weird because in my mind, I've never seen this movie, and I know Texas is one of the worst places that's got history to it, like the Texas Massacre. And it's weird because in my head, I'm seeing something similar to that. I've never seen the movie, and it's old. That movie is so damn old, it's not even funny, but I've never seen it. And I would never see that kind of stuff. It's just weird.
I don't watch stuff like that, especially
Yeah,
to
neither
know it was
do
true.
I. But it's almost similar to that. Oh my God, this is so graphic. I've never heard of that. Why would someone split the body in parts? And you know what I see? And this is even more graphic. She did not use a knife. You want to know what she used?
What?
Ooh.
Chainsaw?
That's all? Yes.
Well, it would work. But how did she move the boots there? I mean, there was no blood around. There was no trace of any blood around the boots. And that's about all I
think that one, she just cut it with probably something that wouldn't leave the blood. Or she did something to make to where the blood wouldn't splatter.
It was post-mortem, so his heart wasn't pumping. It's not going to spill blood.
Yeah, and I don't mean to graphic. I'm sorry, Thomas, but that's just, And me, she did this. She was in such rage. It almost feels like the devil was inside of her when she did this shit. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Possession
That's just nasty.
Yes, possessions happen.
And you know what's funny? I have this weird feeling that as you send me this link or Daryl sends this, someone's going to help me. And you know what I'm getting as I'm describing this, what I'm thinking? I'm getting sick to my stomach.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up such a morbid case.
It's okay.
It's just something told me.
I'm fine with it. I'm good. I should be used to this. Being psychic, I should be used to this, but it's disgusting. And it's funny because one of my friends actually said, this lady is one sick, disturbing person to do something so evil. Yes, that is dead on with that shit. Yeah, I can put it in other ways, but I'm not going to go there. It's okay, Thomas. You don't have to worry about the graphic. It's just me getting the images. But you know what? I want you to send me that case, because even though it might be very old, but for some reason I'm getting 10. Maybe it's older than that, but maybe there's something to do with 10. And I want to say the time span. And who knows, maybe before, it's probably older than that, but I'm thinking it's probably either it was their 10-year anniversary, which is kind of odd when I just said that, or when she killed him, it was something very specific on that date, which could be either the anniversary, the 10-year wedding anniversary, or there was something about either or something to do with the wedding, something of that nature. And that's why I'm getting 10. Now, that's just kind of odd. That's weird because this case could probably be 20 years old, but I'm getting 10. So there's something very specific with 10.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 70s, 80s. It was a long time ago when this happened, because this was one of the first ones that he did research on. So I will find the particular case for you and get you the entire case, the either the video or the transcripts. I'll have to go back. I have the book, so I can go back and find it in the book. It just, he has a 4-hour interview. He did a podcast with someone, and I don't remember the host or anything about it, but the job that this man does is just trying to help bring some closure to people that are missing, and to bring some of these unexplained, 5-year-old kid. They turn around, he's gone. They call the police, they call the park rangers. It was near an army base, so everybody's searching. They find the kid, but they found him 27 miles away in perfect health, laying down asleep because it was the next day or the day after, and by a lake. And the only reason they found him is because a couple of the Army guys was from a different base, so they took the helicopter home, and they were flying down in the valley rather than up. But they found him 27 miles away, and he had the same clothes on, and he was clean, not wet, and it had been raining, and he was located 27 miles away. Now, the kid doesn't remember nothing, but he was crying because he was hungry. It had been over 24 hours. But a 5-year-old kid to be clean and being 27 miles away through rugged forest, there's something about that case that is either out of this world, or somebody has a really sick mind and playing a sick joke to get that kid from the camping spot where they were camping. And most of the people that camp there don't even realize this stuff is happening to other people that camp right at that spot. But there's a lot of those cases where little kids, or there was another one. They found the kid 12 miles away with the family dog. They were both wet but clean and hungry, in perfect health.
Wow.
But they were found, and they were found in a matter of hours. But he was found 12 miles away. No kid can. An adult couldn't run that 12-mile sprint and not be seen by helicopters, and you just can't make that kind of distance. And there's no explanation.
Not even walking. Not walking. You can't. Absolutely no way.
No, and you're gonna these guys are trained. They are trained to, they're search and rescue. 2 search and rescue helicopters. It was one of the search and rescue helicopters that found them. So they did their job and they found them, but they were, when they were talking to him, he was like, I don't even know why we were searching out that far. There's no way that kid could have walked that far. And they just happened to come across a clearing, and there he was sitting right next to the dog, and they went in and landed and picked him up, gave him some food, and got him back to his family. But for the most part, 90% of these cases are still open.
What's funny? I couldn't get the name. Well, I got the name N. Like Natalie, Nancy. I don't know. I just got an N with that one, with the first one you said. That one is something else. I'm being told that case with the kids, someone dropped them off. So the kids saw the person that dropped them off. That's how they made it.
Right.
And
how would a 5-year-old be able to explain that to his rescuer? And why would someone do that?
To be a dumbass.
All right, yeah.
To be mean, yes, to be mean.
I could go with that, but damn, that's mean. I mean, because anything, if you happen to drop that kid off and an animal walked by, you know, that's a circle of life out there. You know, they're going to see an easy meal, either in the dog or the, you know, maybe not even going after the kid, but the kid's right next to the dog. So if another animal goes after the dog, the kid's going to get caught up in the middle of that. And especially being 5, the kid ain't going to know to run. But I've done several shows just off this. I've been trying to get him as a guest to come on my show and talk about this stuff. I find this stuff fascinating. I have listened to every YouTube interview he's done. I've read both of his books. I'm impressed, and I'm also dumbfounded that the lack of people caring when family members and stuff are missing. You know, the parents, yeah, they go nuts trying to find their family member or brother, sister, whatever the combination is, but then it pretty much stops there, and, you know, there are a ton of missing persons. And this
it's sad.
Yeah, this is just in our nation's parks. I mean, that's not including a single city in this country. And there are, every police department out there has its own missing person case files. There's 16,000 police stations in this country, and every single one of them has a whole drawer dedicated to missing people that just disappear without a trace.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the FBI has a whole department. They made a whole TV show out there.
Because you know what? When you say that, when I was describing that first case, I could hear Daryl talking. He's like, shit, you gotta be kidding me.
We were all being had
yeah, and I can see that, even though I don't know if Daryl knew that, but I can tell you, Daryl, his body was chopped up, and that shit's sick. Yeah. That's just very sick. You would think most men would be doing that, but in this case, it was a woman.
Honestly, of all the murders that are unsolved, when they go unsolved, I think it's because they were done by a woman. A woman is a lot more efficient when it comes to keeping everything neat and tidy and putting things. I mean, how many times, well, I don't know about you, but I live with my mother, so whenever she puts stuff away, it'll be the same thing. I ask where it is 10 times because I can't find it and it's in the house, you know, let alone if a woman, I think there's a lot more psycho women out there than our court system.
Then we realize, yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna want, to try and get a hold of him. Maybe I can work with him too, because I mean, if I can get him on the show, it'll be awesome. But that's not the reason why I think they need my assistance. I would love that kind of work and it's funny because right now, as you're talking about these different cases, I'm getting a pull. I'm getting a psychic pull. So that might be a chance at that meaning that I'm going to try my best to look up all these cases that you're telling me. And I'm going to write them down. And I have a weird feeling that it's going to be people wanting to help me.
Well, the books are not that much money, and they're well worth it. They're like $20 a piece, and they have all his cases, and they're a fascinating read. For you, man, that might be rough reading that many cases in a row when you start getting pull all these different directional pulls from, you may have to take that in a little more stride than I did. As soon as I got the book, I tore it up. I sat down and read I didn't go to sleep till I was done with the book. I was that.
Oh, wow.
I was just that. You can't stop once you start in these cases because you sit there and try to solve them in your mind. You can't help it. You're like, wow, a guy my size, my height, walks the Appalachian Trail, leaves, does his check-in, and then just never checks in again. Nobody's ever seen him. The guy he was walking with is doesn't know where he went. I was walking right next to him, and I, went over here to go to the bathroom. I came back on the trail. He was gone. And his walking pole was laying on the ground, but his backpack, everything else was gone with him. But he's been...
I think that's very graphic, especially when you can see that and knowing that you're going through all this, and you're just amazed by it, because as you're telling me the story, you and Daryl, know about this stuff. So it's kind of like, it just makes you think that there is a lot of sick people out there, and it's so sad with how many cases there is. And I mean, the way I see it is, I love helping people in that way, even if it's real graphic. I try to bring some closure to people, even though it's the most sickening thing I've ever seen in my life. I do feel that for some reason, there's certain things I might not be able to accept, but, to see if I was physically there seeing the body, but I know God will give me the strength to overcome my fears of seeing a body. I believe God's going to help me, because I feel that is one of my callings that have been validated on cases that, even though their bodies are still not found, but I know they're dead. There's maybe like 2 people that I did save that I actually brought home with, when I had a good ending.
Oh, wow.
But the other cases, were just...
Kudos to you.
Yeah, so for me to help maybe like 2 or 3 people finding their loved ones to bring them home, it's a good ending, but not all the time.
Right.
Come like that, especially with missing persons cases. Most of the time it comes out to be a very graphic or depressing or unexplained ending when people disappear. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we have about... time is just... it feels like 10 minutes ago we started this thing, and it's been over 3 hours. I think 3, 2.5, 3, whatever. I don't care. I enjoyed the conversation. We got about 10 minutes left, so I always stop us at this point. I want you to go ahead, and anything you would want to tell people that you're doing, any projects, any phone numbers, anything that how to get a hold of you, your face, anything you want to mention, go right ahead and mention it here. I want to thank you for coming on Sci Fi Talk. It has been most interesting.
If they want to reach me, they can reach me at 210-974-3470, or they can reach me at my email, garcia187bluelove@gmail.com. I also have the show, The House Marco Files on Global Enlightenment Radio Network. As a matter of fact, I will have interesting guests in May, which I'm not saying because I'm just going to leave that alone. And then I have a new show I will be doing in May too, I guess. It's going to be from the podcast in Dallas, so I'm looking forward to that. And I just want to say thank you for having me on, Thomas, as always. And hopefully we can do this again and have another show and talk about different things. I love this. I love this kind of stuff.
You see why
I want you to send me the link to these cases, because I want to, see what I can pick up, and hopefully I can get, I can help him and maybe get a hold of him somehow, and maybe I can work with him.
He has a contact us page,
so I can get him to be on your show, and then stuff like that. The other thing I want to say is I just want to say much love to all my fans and my people that are family members, friends. Just want to say much love to everyone. Just want to say thank you, Daryl and Katie. Y'all do a tremendous job as always. And Thomas, we definitely got to do this again.
Most
I had a very good time, and I just want to say love y'all guys.
And I only asked you like 4 questions out of the 30 I had set up for it, so we never did get to any of them. But I've learned a long time ago, I let the conversation lead where it's going. I don't force it, and I enjoyed having you. I look forward to either you can come here again, or I'll come over to your show. However we want to do it, we'll definitely stay in contact. And I look forward to whatever happens in the future. And thanks again for coming on Sci-Fi Talk.
Thank you, Thomas, and just want to say good night, everyone.
Good night, Chris. You have a wonderful evening and a good weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay. Talk to y'all later.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm going to give that a 5-star on the conversation. We'll have to work a little bit on his, give him a good headset. It was wonderful having Chris Garcia on here. It's thanks to Daryl and Katie that have talked me into even having guests. You know me, I can just run on about my survival stuff and everything else. Well, it's nice having someone as a guest and a friend. And he was a friend first. We've talked off the air many times. But today was the first real conversation we had. And when I called him, I didn't mean to catch him right in the middle of doing his, cutting his lawn. But he just looked so happy doing it. So we kind of went over what was going to happen tonight, and it has gone off without a hitch. And I want to thank Chris Garcia as being a guest on Sci-Fi Talk, and hopefully we will talk again really soon. Now, because I skipped all the commercials, I'm not going to play them at the end, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to close out with saying, go to bluecollarpolitics.org. It's on the last page on the store tab. Check out the Colloidal Silver. And if you need anything with security, go check out ckcustom.com, and everything will be explained there. It's a 140-page website, so anything you'd want to know about security, even stuff, we have all kinds of ideas and different things that if you want to learn about anything about security and how to protect your home or business, we are there for you. And that phone number is 352-321-9519. And give us a call. We'll do a free security run-through with you. That is what my degree is in, and I'm working towards my master's degree in digital forensics. I absolutely love it, and I want to help put criminals off the street. And so anytime a electronic device is used in the commission of a crime, that's where I would come in. So it was an awesome time talking to him. I want to thank everybody else that goes into putting Blue Collar Sci-Fi Talk on the air. Got to remember what show I'm on. So have a good night. And I think actually I can play the outtake on the show. So have a good weekend. You are listening to the WWTR Sci-Fi Talk Show on the Global Enlightenment Radio Network. Do not to forget to check out our Facebook page and our soon-to-be website at www.sci-fi-talk.com. Weird Talk Radio presents Sci-Fi Talk Show with host Thomas Fry. Let's get back to the action. Well, we'll change that last little part and say, God bless you and yours, and have a wonderful weekend.